Our youngest daughter was not well, like she was physically ill for many years. I had put her on a gluten-free and dairy-free diet. It seemed to help a lot, but then sometimes I didn't know why she was really feeling sick again. Got this intolerance test done, and she had 17 things on it. 17. But because of that, it opened up a whole other world of food that I didn't really use a lot. So everybody went on this diet, and then I started getting sick. And then I got tested also. Not gluten, actually, but wheat. Then our oldest daughter had one cookie and was violently ill. And then our middle one, it's milk. So I have one kid with, 3 different intolerances. Egg, milk, and not just milk, it's a casein protein.
Okay, so welcome again to the interviews I'm doing now around Europe, and I'm so happy to be here with Noreen O'Sullivan from Gluten-free in Denmark, and we are in a very special place called Villaby that Elizabeth, the owner, opened on purpose for this interview, so we could have a place where to talk about allergies, and I will interview her next, so you will also know about her. And we are at the outskirts of Copenhagen, and we will now know the story and the relationship with allergies and intolerances that you, Noreen, have, and how you ended up vlogging on gluten-free in Denmark, because you are very active and you share recipes and other lifestyle foods related to allergies, because beyond gluten-free you are also eating vegan, which is even more challenging, I think. So I want to know everything about it.
So the whole story is that our youngest daughter was not well. Like she was physically ill for many years, and she was feeling nauseous, and she had a lot of digestive issues. And I took her to every doctor. I'm from New York, but I'm married to a Dane, so we have, we live here. I'm settled here. I'm not moving. So, doctors did not know anything about gluten-free at all, or even diet. I even actually asked, do you think it could be something she's eating? And they were like, no. And that was a shock to me. But anyway, I still felt, because it was her digestive system was not functioning properly, what I considered normal. And eventually we found a place where we could get a blood test for intolerances, the IgG antibodies. Do you know the difference between that? So an allergy is IgA or IgE will show up at the doctor. But the doctor will not test for the IgG. So we found a private lab. She was about 6 years old, 6 years old. Got this intolerance test done, and she had 17 things on 17.
That's a lot.
It was a lot. And then I was like, okay, I don't know what was normal, right? What would a normal person who wasn't feeling sick all the time have? And but then you'd usually maybe have a few that, things that you should avoid or whatever. But hers were quite high, and her numbers were very high. And the big surprise of that, I had put her on a gluten-free and dairy-free diet just because of everything I read about it should be so good, and I was searching, right? And I was alone in this. I was stuck trying to figure out how to get my child to feel better.
So just a question before.
Yes.
This happened here or in New York?
Here.
Here. Okay,
She was born here.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. And then we did the test. No, but before that, I had put her on a gluten-free and dairy-free. And it seemed to help a lot, but then sometimes I didn't know why she was really feeling sick again. And I thought, I don't understand. Like, I had made her these cupcakes for her birthday that were gluten-free and dairy-free.
Yeah.
But because I didn't know about all the other intolerances, I made meringue with egg white. Like, they were puppy dogs.
Yeah.
She was so sick, but I didn't know, right? I didn't know.
So it was the white of the egg?
It was the egg white. That was her #1 intolerance, and it was like off the charts how high it was.
Wow.
And when I got those results, it was like, I cried because I was right, and I cried because I was right. You know what I mean? It's like, I had given it to her, exactly, but I didn't know. And then when I told her, I said, oh my God, sweetie, we found out you actually can't have egg whites. And she said, I told you I can't eat eggs.
Oh, yeah.
So
body tells you what.
The body tells you.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I basically fell off the face of the earth and got into my kitchen.
Yeah.
And at that time in Denmark, because this was like 5, so yeah, I mean, this is over 15 years ago, right? Something like that. And
so
I had
early
to,
2000s, more or less.
Yeah. No, sorry. Because she was, 2010.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. About there.
Yeah.
So you couldn't even find gluten-free flour in the shops here. It was really, really tough. So I had to make my own flour. So I was milling my own flours. I mean, I really was. I did it. I cleaned out the whole kitchen, took everything out. No gluten, no dairy. I mean, it was crazy.
I can imagine.
It was no rice for a while.
Rice also.
Yeah. So, but because of that, it opened up a whole other world of food that I didn't really use a lot, like sweet potatoes. That was, she couldn't have potatoes in the beginning. I mean, the good news is she's doing really, really well now. The only thing that she cannot still have are eggs. That is still, she can have gluten now. But this is where the whole story starts, right?
Yeah.
So when I also have 2 other daughters, right? So 3 girls.
They are fine, or they also have some?
Well, this is what was so interesting, and this is what's so interesting. I was doing all this for one child, but I thought she should not be sitting at the dinner table and feeling like a freak. So we're all going to eat like this. And it was, like I said, I was introducing new vegetables and everything was super healthy. We started eating quinoa all the time. And, you know, we just started eating a lot of different things besides wheat and eggs and milk.
Yeah.
So inadvertently put the entire family on a gluten-free diet. Not so much my husband, because he was going to work and eating his own food, but I mean, I had 3 smallish, school-age kids. I made their lunch boxes, so it was just, everybody was gluten-free.
And it was also easier for you in the kitchen,
Yeah. So it was a lot about, I'm all about love and acceptance and making everybody feel included.
Yeah.
And that's what I definitely wanted her to feel. So everybody went on this diet, and then it started with, I would go out with my girlfriends, let's say, for dinner.
Yeah.
And the bread basket would go around, and I would eat it. Because
the regular bread,
because I wasn't doing the diet for me, I was doing it for her.
Yeah.
And then I started getting sick.
Oh.
And I'm like, that's weird. Knives in my stomach, unwell, and it just went on. I started reacting more and more every time I ate outside of the house. And then I got tested also. Wheat. High, not gluten actually, but wheat.
Yeah. Okay.
So I am intolerant. So I am not celiac that I know of. Anyway, long story is, I could not have wheat anymore, and I used to. But the good things that happened for me I used to have pain in my joints.
Okay. Yeah.
And when we first went on the gluten-free diet, that's before we knew about all her stuff, we had driven far away and stayed in a camper actually, because I thought that was a good way to like only have gluten-free stuff there.
Yeah.
And we had to drive 3 hours. And on my way there, 3 hours holding my hands like this, I was like, ow.
Yeah.
On the way home, after 4 days gluten-free, 100% gluten-free,
You didn't feel it.
I was like, that's so weird. But it took me a long time to get the message that this was about me. I really didn't understand that, So that was like, okay, now I started understanding this is about me. Then our oldest daughter, she went out of the house and had one cookie and was violently ill, throwing up for a whole day. And I was like, what is going on? I mean, I was really, I hadn't planned on this reaction from the whole family. So she was a little defiant about it. She was a little angry, like, no, this is her problem, not mine.
Not accepting she was.
She wasn't. And I said, sweetie, I'm really sorry. I didn't know this was going to happen, but it seems like, maybe something's going to get better for you, because she had suffered with chronic headaches. I had been to all sorts of doctors. She had these are her symptoms. This is really interesting. Chronic headaches, blisters inside the mouth, and spontaneous bloody noses. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
I've actually heard from a lot of people.
Really?
Yeah. So, but of course at the time I didn't know. The doctors definitely didn't know. So we never even got her tested. And she's 26 today, and she is 100% gluten-free, like me. So again, not
but
celiac.
Also because of the wheat? Like you?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think so. Although she just doesn't. She seems to have a pretty strong reaction. Again, when we finally told the doctors what was happening, they're like, oh, then you should do a celiac test. But to do that, we'd have to eat gluten again for some months.
Yeah.
And we were like, no way, no way. We know what happens, and then we can do like the little one, some way, because she had 17.
Yeah.
The lady said, you take it out for a while. The intestines will heal, and then you can reintroduce. So we kept doing that.
The 17 one.
The 17.
Yeah. So out of 17.
Out of
only
17,
one now,
that's it. It's only,
that's,
and it's only like she's also vegan, so she wouldn't eat eggs. But that's what she, like, if she has something that maybe there's some egg cooked in it, she's okay. She doesn't get sick from that.
Okay.
But so it's more raw egg, and there is something about eggs. People can sometimes tolerate it when it's been cooked. Yeah. Unlike gluten, which doesn't matter, right?
Always,
Yeah. So that was really interesting. And then our middle one, she was actually okay with the wheat if she went out. And I was always, because they were like dropping like flies, right? And I'm like, okay, what's going to happen when she goes to a friend's house? She was fine with wheat, but then it's milk.
Wow. Okay.
So I have one kid with 3 different intolerances.
Yeah.
Egg, milk, and not just milk, it's a casein protein, which is something that I really want to talk about, because that's really interesting.
I don't know about it.
And then the oldest one is gluten like me. So when we go out to a restaurant, it's like we're their worst nightmare now, but it's fine, because now we just say we're gluten-free vegan. And my husband's a vegetarian, but he's not gluten-free.
Okay.
So we say, please put the gluten in his, and we're like that.
Apart from other reasons, for sure, one of the reasons that you went vegan is your kids, maybe, and your allergies.
Yeah. Well, we used to eat meat then, because it was actually because we were gluten-free and dairy-free and egg-free.
Yeah. So
but we could still
a lot
eat.
of things are out of the diet.
That's right. So we could eat meat, and we did. So our reason for going off of meat was, number one, my husband went vegetarian first for the environment.
Okay.
And then our oldest one, in her senior year, she went to the Copenhagen International School.
Okay.
She wrote her final graduating paper on the effects of agriculture on the environment.
Okay.
And when we all read that, we were like, okay, we gotta stop this. So we did. At least at home. It was a gradual thing. It wasn't immediate.
Okay.
And for me, I just got to the point where I have horses. We have had horses in our life for many years. And when you have this closeness with such a big, kind of farm animal, you know that they each have personalities and you love them. And I just thought, I don't want to be part of that anymore. So for me, it's a compassion reason, and that I'm teaching compassion, and I think we need to think about our environment, and I think it's all so interconnected. So it's more of a love and compassion thing for me about the animals, because I have to say, in the beginning, it saved us when
being able to eat meat.
Being able to eat meat, because we would go to restaurants or in-laws or whatever, and it wasn't easy for people. I mean, I still know today there's a lot of people who don't invite us for dinner because they don't.
Difficult.
Yes. But then it's okay, because the friends who do, they're like foodies, right? They love the challenge. They
sometimes empathy is what is missing.
That's
in this,
right. Yes.
In these situations, because
that's right.
I mean, when I go out to eat with friends, they let me choose because they know I'm the difficult one.
That's right.
They don't care where we go because they can eat anything.
I have two girlfriends who do that too. They're like, you choose, we don't care.
Exactly.
That's
I
so
will
sweet.
this. And if I want to eat something else, I can do it another day. But when I'm with you, I know that you are restricted.
Yeah.
So, I mean, why to push it?
That's really sweet. A quick little story. Our oldest daughter's getting married. And she went looking at different venues of where she would have the wedding reception. And she asked the woman, okay, and you can make it gluten-free and vegan. And the woman said, oh, no, we can't do that. Maybe we could do it for 15 people or something, but not the whole wedding. Wow. And my daughter said, you know what? And I love that she said this. She said, you don't know what it's like. Every day of my life, I'm the odd one out. On my wedding day, everybody's going to eat what I'm eating.
Exactly.
And I don't have to think. I think it was more about that for her, that she didn't want on her wedding day that she'd have to say, can I have this?
Exactly.
She wants to be like, it's my wedding day, and she can eat everything. So she ended up not choosing that venue. It actually says a lot about people, I think, about how open-minded you are. I remember when the oldest daughter was in school, before we knew about anything, right? Or nobody, we ate whatever. And one kid in the class was allergic to eggs. And I remember saying, okay, wow, I want to make your birthday cake, and I want to make it without eggs so that that child can have it too.
That's.
And I was that mother who wanted to do that. So it is a little bit like, and not that I expect everyone to do it, but when people do it, it just makes you realize, wow.
It feels good.
It's a
and
really.
The question is, why not
welcome.
expect everybody doing it? Because then this other person also expects you to be empathic when he or she has a problem.
That's right.
So,
empathy is a big
for
one.
everybody.
Not
only for you when you're bad, it's for them when they are bad, and you can help.
Exactly. So I think I covered all of them. So now with 26 18-year-old who's gluten-free and vegan by choice. A 22-year-old who is vegan because of the casein protein. That's what I wanted to tell you about. So the thing with milk is, and a lot of people who are lactose intolerant, they don't know about the casein protein in milk.
Yeah.
You look like you don't know what that is.
I know that, for example, in Spain, we call it the milk protein. But I don't know if it's the casein protein.
That's
why I have this face, because I never heard of it about casein.
That's right. So that is, that luckily was also on that test that we did, so we could see that she was high on that. And so that means it's not just milk, and it's not just lactose. So you would still have the milk protein in lactose-free milk and all of that. And we found out with her, because she again would get so sick that she would have it.
I had once a girlfriend who had this, and we couldn't eat lactose-free cheese. It was vegan cheese.
That's right.
So
it's in all animals. So goat, buffalo, whatever, it's that milk protein.
I just didn't know the casein.
That's the name.
Protein,
that's right. So that's a different thing. So that's the middle one. She can't have that, and she also chooses to be. She's studying. She's in university in Scotland studying. So if you go to Scotland, you can call her up. She is studying environmental sustainability. So she's vegan for those reasons. And then the 18-year-old is a vegetarian, no longer gluten-free, because we really, like I said, I cleaned her up when she was little, and it paid off.
The little one is the one with 17 ATG indications.
That's
positive.
Right. Yep. Wow. And now she just avoids egg, but she chooses to be vegan vegetarian. She can have,
And I have a lot of questions, but I know that the time is limited. But first question, how did you manage at school? Because at home it's always easy, because you know what you do.
That's right.
But at school, it's another adventure, I think. How did you manage that?
That's a really great
And also
question.
to explain them, how to explain their friends, because at the end, it's not only a challenge for the person who has this intolerance or allergy, but it's also school. It's always a good opportunity not only to learn about the mathematics or history, whatever, but also to learn about people.
Yes.
No? And how did they explain it to their friends, or you to the teachers and the parents, so they could be part of the group or not feel, like you said before, freaks?
Well, one thing was, like with the oldest one, she had suffered with those spontaneous bloody noses in school and headaches that she often would have to go home for. And they were gone. So that's one way to explain it. Like, remember how she used to have that? Guess what? We found out it was something she was eating.
With the food.
So everybody was very respectful of it, because they saw it. I mean, that was amazing.
They witnessed.
I mean, because she really would get these huge bloody noses at school. And the headaches, right? And then there were other kids who had, the egg. There was some other kid who was allergic to egg in her class. So it was a little bit more, that was not such a big problem. But the little one, I will tell you, the one with the 17, I mean, I'm not so sure I would have done it the way I did it, like take all 17 out. I probably, if that ever happened to anybody else, I would maybe start with the top,
Like sorting it by number of kindness or whatever.
Probably if I had taken the egg out, it would have made a big difference. But it was okay. I mean, it went fast.
You
she
have
recovered.
to learn anyway.
So, the first time she had to go to a birthday party, I was a nervous wreck because I didn't want her to feel like a freak. So I called the mother and I said, "Tell me everything you're serving." So she told me everything they were serving, and I copied it in my ingredients, with what she was allowed to have. So if they were having a very Danish thing, it's called pølsehorn. It's a little hot dog wrapped in bread.
Okay, yeah.
I did that, but I did it gluten-free. And I mean, I was up,
So you
until
reproduced
12.
the
I
menu?
reproduced the menu.
For her?
Yes. And I got there a few minutes early, and we set up a little corner because she had like a buffet table, and the mother was wonderful. She's a teacher also. I'm also a teacher.
Okay.
And we set up a little corner. She's like, okay, we'll just put it here. Now, Una, you go first. You take yours, and then we won't even talk about it. Right? So we don't have to say like Una's.
Yeah, like a label.
Yeah.
Gluten-free.
Yeah, no, it looked like. And then the only thing was I didn't know what the cake, I couldn't do the cake. So I had found these cookie cutters in the shape of little dresses. She was like 6, right?
Yeah.
And I had decorated them like you wouldn't believe. I mean, this was something out of like a tea shop in London or something, it's just gorgeous. And then we put those, and those did have Una's name. And all the other kids wanted to be gluten-free.
Yeah, this happens sometimes that it's my experience in some cases like this, that there is, let's say, a defined menu for everybody the same.
Yes.
And I got something special. And then they want to be special, and it's like, you need to think about this a bit more, because you don't want to be like me in this case.
Exactly. Yeah. Although I do have to say, we were in Spain actually 2 weekends ago. We were in near Malaga, La Herradura, on the coast.
Yeah.
And we were at a dinner, and my husband and I are vegetarian. And I was really surprised. Out of maybe 70 people, there were only 3 vegetarians.
Oh.
And I was the only gluten-free.
Yeah.
So we had special food. And everybody was jealous of what we were getting, because especially when you're vegetarian, then you really get a lot of vegetarian stuff. So sometimes, but there's the gluten-free makes it hard. I think if I would like it if I was just vegan, right? That would make my life easier.
Yeah, because vegan includes wheat, but you cannot take it.
That's right. Yeah. So there's a lot of things that I often can't have. Yeah. So,
that's hard.
But I can eat. I always say to people, like, no, it's really not that difficult. Like, go into the produce section in a grocery store. I can eat everything there.
Yeah, exactly.
You can make a lot of food from there. So.
Yeah, that's true. I think that it's also the image of, you are limited, and you only see the limits, but. This came out on 2 of the interviews I did in Czech Republic. That they were so optimistic. I mean, gluten-free opened them a new kind of foods, like for you. You were saying before, the sweet potato and other
quinoa and teff flour
that you don't consider,
and cassava, and chickpea flour, everything. Yeah. So. And this is also what we were saying before with Elizabeth about the mindset or imaginary that people has of being gluten-free or lactose-free or vegan, etc. That, vegan is by choice. Lactose-free and gluten-free, it's for health matter, other than choice. But how they react when they put the label gluten-free on it. Being the same cookie, one side without label, the other side with label, they only buy the left one because it doesn't have the label. Why? I know.
So this is something that we have to work on as a collective.
Yes.
And it's what I'm trying also to do with this adventure.
Right.
And now we are entering into another thing that you're doing, I think, that it's sharing. You're doing it now here.
Yeah.
But you're doing it through social network.
Yes.
And before you told me you have 2 profiles. One.
That's right.
And is it linked with the teaching phase of yours? That,
absolutely. Well, when I first started gluten-free in Denmark, which is a funny thing because there was actually one other mother in Una's class that had a little boy who was coeliac.
Okay.
And she would tell me, come over to my house and we'll cook together. So we would bake together.
Yeah.
And she was like my teacher. She was Portuguese.
Okay.
And she was lovely. And then, you know, what would happen, we'd be out in Copenhagen and we'd think of each other. We'd take a photo and we'd share just between the two of us.
Yeah.
And I said, listen, Katerina, I'm going to start a Facebook page. And then we just share there because maybe there's other English-speaking people who want to find out about this. And I'm telling you, I know it's very kind of you to say that I share a lot. I'm gluten-free in Denmark. I don't share that much because that's not my main. My other profile is my main.
But you're still very active there.
I could be more active, right?
Yeah,
but yes, I do once in a while. But it's not. It's not something I focus on. But I have more followers on that page than on the one that I work really hard on.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's people are looking for it, and like how you found me, people look for it, and I get people writing to me all the time, and it's very interesting.
What can we find in your profile? Because I've seen you like making reviews of products, making recipes. Explaining places like this, for example? Yeah,
exactly.
I
just, when I find a restaurant I like and, a baker that I like, Marie's, the hot baker, and
tomorrow I eat.
And For Emma is another fabulous, I think that's probably like one of my last posts. And also if I go to a restaurant and they've really made an effort. We ate not that long ago, I think I did a review about pescatarian. Wow. They were like so discreet also, which I really appreciate from the restaurant. When I came in, I was like, because we were with some guests that didn't know me so well, and I don't want it, sometimes they come over, who's gluten-free? And you're like, I am, They were, so I kind of went up to the waiter, could you, I'm the gluten, and he just said, we know, you don't have to say anything anymore. And he meant it, and they were fabulous, and they made their own gluten-free bread, and so I really appreciate that. So when a restaurant or a cafe or something really goes out of their way, I like to share it.
Yeah.
So that's what I do. I just share what I love and when I feel love, right? And that goes onto my other profile, which is all about love. Yeah. It's all about self-love, self-awareness is a huge thing.
Yeah. Quite uncommon sometimes.
Yes. So my children's book is called Look, Listen, Love.
Yeah.
And that's sort of my life motto. To look at what you're feeling at every minute, listen to where you feel it in your body, which could really be applied to the whole food thing. Because I actually made a post about this, that I get food cravings, and like I crave okra, and I'll crave, I don't know, some other...
Happens to me with chocolate.
Yeah, I get that too, exactly, and coffee.
Yeah.
But sometimes I just get, which I like to think are like healthy, but it takes listening, to your body. And also, like with my kids, right? If they get a rash or if they get blisters in their mouth, then they know, okay, my body's not happy. I have to listen to it. And, so.
Yeah, I think that, your little daughter, 17 intolerances.
Yeah.
Or she telling you, I knew it was the egg.
I told you.
Yeah. So.
And I didn't listen to her.
But it's not about. It's a kid. Sometimes they say they don't like something, but they just don't want to eat it.
That's right. Yes.
So here there is also a kind of blurred border, no?
Yes.
But how important is food? For example, your older daughter, the nose. Bleeding, headaches, and it's all about food. You
all
fix this,
about food.
This goes good.
Yeah.
And this, your brain,
connected,
your health,
right?
it's all connected.
So
I fully agree that listening to yourself and knowing yourself, it can be the solution to many problems.
Exactly. And especially, so I'm a teacher, and with children.
What do you teach, by the way?
Well, I teach young children.
Okay,
I have in
yeah.
the past. Now I do my own workshops.
Okay.
So I have my own private little business. So
Okay.
I use animals as my assistants.
Yeah.
Horse, dog, whatever.
Okay.
And I do, like a few weeks ago, I ran a little summer camp. It was a day camp, 5 days a week, and the kids came to me. We did art. We ate lunch. I prepared them food every single day, and everything, I didn't talk about it to them, but everything was gluten-free and vegan.
Okay. Yeah.
And they ate everything. And that was amazing. And the parents were blown away. They couldn't believe that they would just eat all this stuff.
That's
that was,
strange.
yes. Yeah. So I think eating is such a way to show love, right?
Yeah.
And actually, when I make food, I put my hands over it and I ask that there's love going into it, and that the children will taste it and feel acceptance, and also I always do everything like a buffet, so it's a choice.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to force them in, because that's not love, right? And we talk about control, right?
Yeah.
Like where I make buffet food for them, child friendly, and they can make, like we did a fried rice, you can see on my thing, and it was just rice, and then on the side was corn and red pepper and carrots, and they could make it themselves.
So they are active part of the preparation.
Absolutely.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. And then, it's a lot about texture, right? Do you like hot food? Do you like cold food? And all of this listening, look, listen, love, is like my life motto, and it goes very well with food. Because one kid might like a crunchy pasta, and another one wants it soft. And, I watch, and I offer choices, and when you get it right, they feel seen, heard, and loved.
Yeah, that's true. And
that's what food does.
That's a good base also for growing strong mentally, I think.
Yeah.
If you are loved or you feel like this, you are more self-secure.
That's right. Yeah.
Wow, that's super interesting.
Parents in particular should really listen to their children, and also look at chronic symptoms. When the symptoms are chronic, like we talked about, like
headaches or the nose,
bloody noses, rashes, because all that cleared up. Like rashes on the skin, that's food.
Yeah, so, I try to end every interview with an advice, and I think this could be your advice. Listen to your kids and pay attention to the...
Yeah, and listen to yourself, right? This whole thing of self-awareness is that if you really look at your food and sit with it, and maybe not, I think a lot of people might have a gluten or wheat or some sort of intolerance, and maybe not know it. But if you're getting a chronic ailment, whether that's, so my husband used to have chronic sinus issues until we changed the diet, and that went away for him. And I think that was milk, because we don't have that anymore. But so I would just say, just sit with, look at yourself. What's going on in my body? Is it happy? Is it flourishing?
And and another advice request came to my mind as a mom.
Yes.
I mean, all of a sudden, you've got a little kid with 17 intolerances. Then your other kid starts throwing out because of the cookie.
Yeah.
And your other kid also have other symptoms.
Yeah.
What's your advice? How to react? How to approach this problem? Because I think here you have a lot to say.
Yeah, well, that was hard. I think just really get into your own energy, that you are calm.
Yeah.
So that you are not hysterical over it.
Yeah.
Looking back, I probably could have relaxed a little bit more than I did.
Okay.
but I still don't regret it because it made a lifestyle change for them, and you know, they're
always an
happy for it.
opportunity.
Yeah. But I think just not to panic and just make slow changes, every little, you know, I like to say now, try crowding out rather than full-on elimination, unless, of course, you have celiac or you are allergic. I mean, then you have to take it out. But yeah, just do everything you can to make them know and to understand why they have to eliminate something, right?
Good.
Yeah.
So, Noreen, a pleasure. I
Thank
would
you.
stay here hours talking with you because I really like your experience, your way of living, and so on.
Thank you so much.
Time is limited.
Yeah,
Thanks
this is
for your
great.
time.
Thank you.
For organizing the
I
meeting
know.
here.
It was so nice of Elizabeth.
Yeah, thanks
do
to
this.
Elizabeth too. Now she comes to sit here.
Okay, perfect.
wait.
Yes,
I got this.
okay.
And I will close saying thank you again.
You're so
And
welcome.
as she said, pay attention, listen to yourself, don't panic, and approach the problem little by little.
That's right.
And this is how everything works.
That's right.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Look, listen, love.
Yeah, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you.